Hey everybody, so some quick suspension news this morning out of Nashville. Austin Watson's 27-game suspension for unacceptable off-ice behavior stemming from his domestic violence arrest over this past summer. His suspension has been reduced from 27 to 18 games by an independent arbitrator. So I mean, this is something I don't know a lot of facts about the case. This is something that in general was not talked about all that much this offseason. This was kind of kept hush hush and on the down low a little bit. No one really knew what was going on. Really, the only big news breaks in this whole thing was when it happened and then when the NHL handed down the 27-game suspension. So there's still, obviously the league, the Players Association, and everyone involved in the case knows a lot more than the average fan about what actually happened and what is going on. But for whatever reason, the independent arbitrator decided to lower the suspension, and not only lower it by a significant amount. It's not like he just dropped it from 27 to 25 or something. Going from 27 all the way down to 18, that's a pretty big jump. You're going from missing almost 30 games to missing less than 20. So Watson will be available to play a lot sooner than originally anticipated. But it'll be interesting to see if Nashville takes him back. I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know how severe the case was, or how severe what happened was. Obviously, all domestic violence issues are very severe and not something that you would just brush off and play around with. But for whatever reason, this independent arbitrator has decided that 27 games was too long, and now, it's up to the Predators to either take him back at the end of the suspension, or we'll see if they release him or terminate his contract or whatever. But whether or not this is this move, what your opinion on this move is completely. It's completely up to you. That's a personal decision for you to make as far as whether you agree with this or not. But the fact of the matter is that the suspension has been reduced for whatever reason, and Watson will be available to play, pretty significantly sooner than originally anticipated. So now it's up to the Predators to make a decision themselves. Do they stand by Watson, say he's served his time, he's been punished, and he's fulfilled that punishment, he suffered the consequences, now let's get things back to normal? Or do they say we do not want a domestic abuser on this team, and they release him? And then if they release him, there's probably a good chance that a team somewhere around the league will pick him up and he'll stay in the NHL. Although, as we've seen with Slava Voinov, that's not necessarily the case. But Voinov's was a little bit different because he basically got sent back to Russia. He's here on a work visa to play in the NHL, but he's not a U.S. He doesn't live in the U.S. I would assume he's probably not a U.S. citizen unless he took the citizenship test, but he's probably not a U.S. citizen. So once you start, if you get in trouble and you're here, not as a citizen but on a work visa, it's pretty easy to send you back. And that's basically, he's been ostracized from the league at this point, and he basically just got sent back to Russia. Watson, he's a U.S. born player. They can't send him to another country. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, and this is something that still isn't fully played out yet. The league released a statement saying that they were very disappointed with the decision, and I think that would be expected. And this not only has an effect on Watson, but this affects all of these future or potential future cases like this. This kind of sets a precedent that these suspensions can be reduced, and And if something like this were to happen in the future with a different player on another team, would the league suspend them shorter just to begin with because of this, or would they still do a long suspension and have the potential of that getting reduced as well? But this is not a small deal as far as the league goes, and the league takes things like this on a case-by-case matter. There's no set suspension lengths for these types of issues. It's a case-by-case thing. So this happening could force the league to look into maybe having set suspensions and be like, your first offense is 20 games. Second offense is a full season, third offense is you're done, something like that. Maybe they'll set a certain, guidelines for each offense or something, because this arbitrator basically just threw a wrench in the whole take it case by case thing, because they can just, appeal the suspension and then potentially get it reduced. So there's still a lot to happen with this, and this certainly affects future cases as well, if there are any. Hopefully there aren't, but as we've seen with the NFL and even NBA and MLB, all the pro sports, we've seen this issue come up quite often. It's probably more in the NFL than anywhere else, but certainly across all pro sports this has been an issue. So we'll have to see how it all plays out, but as of right now, Austin Watson's suspension has been reduced, and I don't think there's another next step. I think appealing to an independent arbitrator is the highest step of appeal. So that's the ruling. So his suspension is now 18 games. We'll see if the Predators keep him or if they end up releasing him. So this still has a little bit to play out from now, but as of right now, that's the case. So like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media, check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.